In the spring of 1964, TWW learnt that it would be shortly required to provide a television service for Wales as a whole, in addition to the service already being provided for the west of England and South Wales. Earlier in 1964, the company had, at short notice, undertaken the broadcasting commitments of the WWN company, which supplied programs to West and North Wales. Meanwhile, the Independent Television Authority announced its intention of extending the Welsh network of transmitters by adding a new aerial to the St Hilary transmitter in Glamorgan. This aerial, disseminating programs on Channel 7, became operational early in 1965. TWW therefore provides two complete television services, one for Wales with a strong emphasis on Welsh language programming, and one for the west of England and South Wales, also containing a high proportion of local interest programs. The 60 hours of programming required for the two services each week comprise programs produced at TWW's own studio centres in Bristol and Cardiff, programs taken from the network companies, and film programs purchased from outside sources. The complex technical operation of blending these programs and commercials together into the two services and feeding the services to the transmitters is carried out in the master control room here at Lontcanna. The original master control was designed to supply one service only. A bigger, more elaborate master control was necessary to deal with the two services. In addition to a new master control room, a further studio was required to cope with the increase in local production. Additional dressing rooms, rehearsal rooms, makeup rooms also had to be built. And of course, office accommodation for the extra staff of 80 taken on since January 1964. A building lease on land adjacent to the studio was obtained from Cardiff Corporation, and the work of clearing and excavating began in October 1964. The excavation reached a depth of 30 feet. TWW had to dig deep into its pockets too, for the cost of this specially designed complex of buildings alone was going to amount to nearly £250,000. While the work of construction proceeded on the site, orders for equipment worth £130,000 were being placed with manufacturers. The steel girder framework of the new building completed, the bricklayers moved in. Meanwhile, an engineering methods study team was working out, by the use of models, the best and most practical layout for the new master control area and its maze of equipment. The total length of cable to be used amounted to 100 miles, enough to stretch from Cardiff to Bristol and back twice. There were, therefore, plenty of formidable problems ahead, even after the topping out ceremony, which signalled the completion of building as such. Equipment had to be transferred piece by piece from the old master control room into the new without any break or stoppage in the daily transmissions of the two services. Gradually, this phased transfer was completed during the summer and early autumn of this year. The new studio on the ground floor was brought into operation in November of last year and has been in constant use ever since. And now, here is the new master control. Its central feature are the transmission control desks, one for each of the two services. And the announcer's studios, again one for each service. Backing the control desks are 7 telecine machines to handle the vast quantities of film transmitted daily. Adjoining is a glass-panelled videotape area housing 3 machines. The area has been specially treated to absorb the noise of the machines in operation. The derelict remains of Lontcanna Farm. The last stage of the TWW development scheme envisaged their demolition to make way for additional car parking facilities for the increased staff required to man the two services. Guests and artists taking part in the company's programs had also increased in number, and more parking space was necessary to relieve congestion. The completion of the car park was the last phase in TWW's £380,000 extension and development scheme. And so, the company's policy of maintaining its studio centres among the most up-to-date and best equipped in Europe has been implemented yet again. Where there was one service, now there are two, separate yet interdependent, and the very best that the company can provide. Today, Sir Ben Bowen-Thomas, the Welsh member of the Independent Television Authority, demonstrated his confidence in this major TWW development by unveiling a plaque commemorating the occasion.